What's going on, guys, and welcome back to a brand new tactics video. Today I'm going to bring you the perfect 4-2-4. It's scored over 150 goals in testing and you need to try it out. I also want to thank everyone that is scrolling down the screen right now for joining the Patreon or already being an existing member. Obviously you guys get some fantastic perks there. It supports me as well, so if you do want to check it out, the link is in the description. But let's go ahead and get right into the video. But before we do, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. So we're going to kick things off then with Tottenham, obviously a team which I personally don't like playing with in this game because they are very hard to get good results with, and it is a little bit of a challenge. But in terms of media prediction, it's quite generous. A third place media prediction. We have come out, however, and gone above and beyond that. We've won the Premier League and also the FA Cup against Aston Villa. We scored 115 goals with this Tottenham Hotspur side and only conceded 44. As most 4-2-4s are, they are very attacking, but as always on this channel, we are going to have 3 variations to prevent some of these goals going in. In terms of the points in the league, it was very, very close. We actually won by 1 single point. Obviously, Man City having a very good season, coming in second, very close as well. So do you know what? We got a little bit lucky, but we'll take it. We'll take that little bit of luck. Not the best display in the Champions League, as you can see, but PSG are a very good side. Decent performance in the Carabao Cup, but the main 2 ones, the Premier League and the FA Cup. We are going to look at the league stats, as something which we'll be getting a bit of a habit on this channel right now. We've won most points per game award, most goals as well, and the most shots for. In terms of the possession, it's actually quite high. Now, most 4-2-4s seem to sort of naturally get this. It's not designed to be a tiki-taka based tactic at all, or really a controlling tactic, but 59% possession is actually a really good stat line to have, especially in the Prem. In terms of the pass completion, it's going to be around the 86% mark, which is relatively good as well. But the main stats coming out of us from here is definitely going to be the most shots for. Going over to some of the actual data hub stats for Tottenham Hotspur. Obviously not got the best defence in the league, let's get that out there. Above 3 goals a game, sitting at 3.03, conceded per game coming in at 1.16, so a little bit over the 1 goal mark per game, but with a few tweaks which we are going to talk about, you can easily get this below 1 goal a game, trust me. In terms of the pass completion, it is going to be 86%, we did discuss that previously. So overall, some really good stat lines. Obviously the main one is going to be the goals per game. That is the real main focus of this Tottenham side, or this tactic, not really just the Tottenham side, but anything over 3 goals is classed as a high scoring tactic in my opinion. And this is what you can do with a team like Tottenham. You want to see what happens when we tested with one of the powerhouses, because the stats will blow your mind. But overall, a very good first test. And we then got over to 23rd place predicted Harrogate Town, obviously find themselves inside the Sky Bet League 2, and we have completely reversed the script because we actually finished first, and we didn't just finish by a little bit, we actually dominated this division. 106 points compared to Leyton Orient's 85 points, so a massive difference in terms of the points there. 100 goals scored, 35 conceded, quite a few bookings I am going to say, because it is quite an aggressive system. Again, we are going to go over some tweaks you can do, as we did pick up a fair few bookings, let's be real, but overall a very impressive season. Obviously the main focus here is going to be on the league. The Cups, it wasn't the best, but at the end of the day, when you're taking a team that are predicted to finish 23rd and you're winning the league with them, you can't really complain. And now we're going to have a look at some of the stats, obviously the league stats again. Most points per game, we take that award home. Most goals as well coming in. It's an absolute blast, and this is, I mean, look at this, 100 goals compared to Barrow's 66. It's not even close. Most shots for 812 coming in. We'd love to see that. And most possession, again, relatively high, sitting at 62%. So although this isn't a possession-based tactic, for those of you that do like to maintain the ball, like to play possession, it's actually a really good shout for you. And in terms of the pass completion, we are looking at 84%, so a little bit lower than at Tottenham, but there again, we are one of the worst teams in this league, and also the quality of the players isn't the best. So it's still quite a good stat line, but a little bit worse than Tottenham, but I feel like that is more than expected, to be honest with you. I'm going over to the data hub. As you can see, it is going to be under 3 goals this time, but we are a severe underdog, so I'm going to accept it because we are obviously basically predicted to finish rock bottom. 23rd place, let's not forget that. So 2.17 goals per game, I will happily take that and walk on. Conceded coming in at actually 0.76, so very impressive there. We've actually got a better defensive display, and obviously a slightly worse attacking display, so it's sort of ups and downs in this sort of save, but overall a very good season. Pass completion could be a little bit better, but as I said, we haven't got the best quality players in this league, so we are going to take it. And in my opinion, what makes it the successful season, is going to be the fact that we've turned a team that are favourites to go down practically into champions. And we then go over to the last test, the powerhouse, and this is what you can get from this tactic if you've got the players that PSG have. I want to make that very clear as well, but it's an absolute domination. Not only did we incredibly dominate the French league with 101 points, scoring 153 goals and only conceding 25, if that's not good enough for you, we also won the Champions League against Real Madrid We also won the French League, as I mentioned, the Coupe de France and the Trophy de Champion, making it a quadruple winning season. An absolutely flawless season. I don't know if we actually did go invincible. We will have a little look. We didn't go invincible on this occasion, but still a very, very good season. I mean, it's utter dominance, and the fact that we won the Champions League really does top this season off. And in terms of the actual league stats, it is basically all in our favour. I'm going to be real. We've got most points per game, most goals, fewest shots against, most shots for. Where have I got fewest shots against from? Most shots for, fewest shots against coming in there, most possession, fewest conceded, and the pass completion at 86%. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be quite a few. It's going to be 6 stat lines going in our favour. Obviously not the best pass completion again, but as I said, it wasn't really designed to be a tiki-taka based tactic. So the fact that it has got a lot of possession honestly does sort of surprise me, but it's not a bad thing. And now we're going to see some of the best stat lines we're probably ever going to see on this channel. Goals per game coming in at 4.03. That is right. Over 4 goals a game scored with this fantastic side. Conceded sitting at 0.66 and pass completion at 86%. The only thing you'd probably want is a slightly better pass completion, but do you know what? The goals are going in. We won 4 trophies in one season. I personally wouldn't want to change a thing, because when you're scoring that amount of goals, you do not want to be messing about with the formula. And we are now going to watch some goals that is going to be in the Coupe de France final against FC Annecy. So it was quite a comfortable final, as you can tell by the scoreline. A 9-0 win as Verratti plucks a wonder ball over the top into Kylian Mbappe, who actually is unselfish on that occasion, and squares it to Neymar, who gets a very easy opening goal inside of 6 minutes. And I feel like in a game like this, when you score so early on against a team like this Standard, you know it's going to be a thump. And as Vitinha plays a wonderful ball over the top into Soler, who drags it across into Mbappe, he gets rewarded for not being selfish a minute ago by finally getting himself a goal in this cup final. We go again now, Verratti. You're going to see, I want to point this out, by the way. The 2 roles in midfield are so important in this tactic. You're going to see a lot how they sort of link up the play, how they are the reason the attack moves, especially the deep line playmaker, which I'm going to talk about more when we do break down the tactic. But him and the box-to-box are such a good partnership. My 2 favourite roles to partner alongside of each other in any 2 in midfield combo. And they work so well as Verratti links up into Soler there. He picks up the ball quite deep actually on this occasion, into Messi, into Mbappe, and it's a very composed finish. He's never going to miss it. I mean, it's Kylian Mbappe, the absolute star man at the moment. What a finish from him. He goes again now to actually complete the hat-trick with a penalty inside of the 25th minute. So it was quite a comfortable game, we've got to be honest. Hakimi again into Verratti, the midfield player, into Vitinha, back into Verratti, a ball over the top, right into Messi. Poor defending, to be honest, as Messi has absolutely acres of space to work with. And that is going to be, I believe, 5-0. An absolute stomping inside of the first half. We go again here. Neymar with a ball into the box. Again, shambolic defending. And Renato Sanchez has a very easy header to tuck it into the top right-hand corner. Messi picks it up quite high up the field here into Mbappe. A great overlap and run into Neymar. Is he going to go alone or is he going to be unselfish? He's going to go alone. Just drives it down the middle of the goal. The keeper absolutely buckles to his knees. And that is going to be the 7th goal. There is still 2 more though, as Mbappe links up with Messi as always. Back into Mbappe, into Neymar. Is there going to be another pass? There isn't. It's a very lucky one. I believe it actually should have went down as an own goal, but do you know what? Neymar's claiming it. I can't blame him. I would as well. We win the ball back again here after an awful clearance. Mendes into Verratti. Takes his time on the ball into Fabian. A ball over the top there. Great vision into Renato Sanchez. And how about that for some composure? An absolutely incredible finish to seal it out in what was a 9-0 win. We are now going to break down the tactic, guys, but before we do, please do leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and if you do enjoy myself as a content creator, please do come over to the Twitch as well. You can see it on the screen and get involved. We are live basically every single day, and there is going to be a subathon this Saturday, so do come along. There's going to be quite a few embarrassing challenges, so it will definitely be worth a watch. But let's go ahead and break down this tactic. So we're going to have 3 variants as always. As I do like to point out, obviously if you're a Patreon member or a Twitch sub, you can download all 3 variants, but you're not forced to do this because you can download this one, which is obviously the one that we tested with, and you can also copy the attacking and defensive variants. I really would consider downloading or copying all 3 of these, because a tactic like the 4-2-4, you do need to have a lot of tweaking inside of the game because it naturally starts off very attacking. Well, let's start off then with the perfect 4-2-4. So it's going to be a custom clean slate, by the way, in terms of tactical style. We're going to go in terms of the mentality. We're going to go attacking. In possession, you want to have fairly wide, overlap left and right, play out of defence, a shorter pass and directness, and a higher tempo with mixed crosses. Nothing really selected here because, to be honest, it's not really needed in my opinion. In transition, you want counter press, counter, distribute quickly, distribute to the fullbacks and also the centre backs, and take short goal kicks. Now, the one thing you could change You don't need to have this on, but in my opinion, a 4-2-4 is quite a quick moving tactic. It's quite an aggressive system, so it makes sense to obviously make teams on the back foot. The second your keeper gets the ball, distribute quickly, make them work, make them, a little bit nervous, especially when there's a counter run. In terms of out of possession, you want a standard defensive line, a high press line of engagement, and more often with prevent short goalkeeper distribution. And that is going to be the team instructions. In terms of the actual player roles, we're going to start off with a sweeper keeper on the default instructions on support, and have a wing back on defend. If you're wondering why they're on defend, it's because it is very attacking as it is. In my opinion, even on the support role, it was too much. So we've got to see how we sort of transition this into the attacking variant, but the default variant, have them on defend, trust me. You want a wing back on defend, on dribble less and shoot less often, and on the left-hand side, it is exactly the same. So both fullbacks, exactly the same instructions. We then have 2 ball-playing defenders, and then simply on the default instructions, nothing that we really need them to do in particular. So nice and simple, 2 ball-playing defenders, both on the defensive duty. Going over to the midfield, we have a box-to-box on support, simply on roam from position, a nice default option. Next to him, a deep line playmaker. And the only reason why I've got him on dribble less is because I don't really want him making progressive runs. I want him to be quite deep, because that's when we see him play them balls over the top. He doesn't really go too far, doesn't really, drive too far forwards. And that's exactly what we want. So it's important you have dribble less in this variant. Going over to the wingers then, we have an inverted winger on the left, on take more risks, cross more often, and aim the crosses at the centre. And on the right, we have got an inverted winger on attack, on cross more often, and cross aim centre, aim the crosses at the centre. Now, we have 2 advanced forwards, both on attack. On the right-hand side, we've got on roam from position. On the left-hand side, we've got the same, but without roam from position. We don't want both of them roaming, so that's completely up to you which one you want. In my opinion, it worked really well like this, so I would recommend you stick to it, because it does work really well, and trust me, you get an absolute ton of goals playing with this system. And that's going to be the sort of default one broken down. We're now going to take a little bit of time going over the attack and variant. Obviously, this is the one that you'd use if you're going in against a team that possibly you're going in a couple goals down on aggregate, or you go a goal down in the game, or you might be drawing a game and you want to just push it a little bit further and try and get the win. So the attack and variant, as you can see, we're going to, first off, there isn't too many changes. I'm going to be honest, there's only very few changes. And the real standout one here is going to be, and the only change in the actual sort of team or the player instructions, the wing backs go to support. It's as simple as that, because this is already a very attacking tactic. So we've not changed any instructions. We've not told them really to do anything extra, apart from allow the wing backs not to be purely defensive, because then they will get slightly involved. But if you go too attacking any more than what you've already done, you are going to be too vulnerable, in my opinion. In terms of the team instructions, same mentality. The only difference being we've got run at defense and be more expressive. It's sort of like this really does max out the attacking potential with this system. In transition, it's exactly the same. Obviously, we've already got the distribute quickly option on, and the only difference in this scenario is going to be the higher defensive line. Now, obviously, we did pick up quite a few bookings, and we actually don't have get stuck in on. And a couple of things you can do about this. You can lower the tempo, because obviously that is the way you pick up bookings, because playing a high tempo is great, but it does occasionally mean the odd error from the players. So I would recommend lowering that down a little bit, especially if you're a goal or two up, because you don't need to have the intensity throughout the whole game. But obviously this is stuff you need to do when you're playing and using this tactic yourselves. And that's going to be the attacking variant. So we'll go back to the normal one just to refresh the memory. And that is what the normal one's going to look like. Now, the next one is going to be a defensive variant, one which you go if you're possibly leading a game by 1 or 2 goals. I'd say 2 goals, because I feel like switching to a defensive tactic too early on actually is a negative thing. So I would only switch to this really if you're trying to seal out a game desperately, or if you're going against a team that is a really, really top team and you're an underdog and you want to sort of, set the pace for the game, get a feel for exactly what you're sort of going to run into. But going into the defensive variant, it does actually switch to a positive mentality. We introduce a deep line forward to sort of link up the play on roam from position, on support. We then have 2 of the sort of midfield or winger players, not midfield players. They actually drop down to a supportive role, the inverted wingers, both on support. On the left, we've got take more risks, cross more often, aim the ball at the centre, and on the right-hand side, just simply cross more often and aim at the centre. One change in the midfield, we actually get rid of the box-to-box, because a box-to-box is told to do both things, right? They're told to go back and defend and also go up the field. If you're defending a game, you've got these 4 players that are going to be up there. You don't really want that 5th player. So we actually introduced a ball-winning midfielder on no real certain instructions, just nice and basic on support. The wing-backs do remain on support, because the wingers obviously drop as well, and having the full-backs on defend is just complete overkill. You become too negative, so they do stay on support. In possession, as you can see right now, all we've introduced on this one is simply added a little bit of time wasting into the mix, and obviously mentality is going to be to positive. In transition, the one thing we've changed is slow the pace down. Obviously, if you're trying to seal out a game, this is perfect. If you are starting with this tactic, simply just untick it because you don't want to slow the pace down from the first minute. And out of possession, it's literally exactly the same as the start. The standard defensive line, in my opinion, a lower one's going to invite too much pressure on with this system. But if you are really trying to, shut up shop, that is something you could definitely look to do. But that is going to be all three variants of what I like to call the perfect 4-2-4 broken down. If you have enjoyed today's video, guys, nearly buggered that up, please do leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and also turn on notifications. And as always, guys, leave some comments on what managers or tactics you want to see next, because we've got a nice list on the go. But I will see you boys in the next video.